Hello, welcome. It's lovely to see everybody. Thank you for joining us for this talk and group meditation this evening. And I want to speak just for 20 minutes or so on keeping a positive state of mind. And the first thing to realize is that a positive state of mind, you cannot separate the mind and the body. Okay, so whatever's going on, the thoughts in your head, that's going to affect your physical body. Whatever's going on in your physical body, that feeds back and affects what's going on in your mind. So take, for example, if you start having very fearful and worrying thoughts, those thoughts produce chemicals that are produced in your body. And in the case of fear and worry and anxiety and doubt and these sort of feelings, those chemicals tend to produce a reaction in the body that is the stress response. So you either want to fight, flight, or freeze. And all sorts of chemicals are produced and your body starts to tense. You get that horrible butterflies in your stomach, you feel it in your chest, and you can feel your body's response to those thoughts. And then when your body starts producing that response, that feeds back chemicals to the mind, to the brain, and the brain starts producing more thoughts along the same line. And this is how we can get into quite a negative loop, if you like. And so we wind up going round and round this loop. And this is where one little fearful thought or some doubt or anxiety really takes hold of us. And it starts producing more of the response in your body. Your body feeds back to your mind. And we wind up getting ourselves into a very negative state, body and mind. So what we can do is we need to stop that loop. And we can either stop that loop by addressing what's going on in our body and that calming our mind down, or we can stop that loop by starting in the mind and calming the body down. Whichever way we come at it, we can stop that loop. And the first thing we've got to do is realize we're in it, recognize I've got myself in a right state here, and recognize that you are feeling overwhelmed and that your mind has run away from you. Okay, and then, so for example, if we wanted to start with the response in our body, so we want to calm the mind by calming down the body. And this is where we recognize that our thoughts and our breath are linked. So if you want to calm the mind by coming through the body, you can do something like a relaxation, you can do yoga, you could do some Tai Chi, some Qigong, anything that works to really reduce the stress response and calm the body. And that will work to calm the mind. But if you realize that the breath and the mind are linked, so when I am thinking, when my mind is thinking a lot of thoughts, when I'm overwhelmed by thoughts, my breathing tends to be right up here, tends to be short and quite labored. And an extreme of that is an anxiety attack, where the breathing is all up here and the person starts to hyperventilate. So by simply knowing that to calm my mind, I need to take the breath down deeper in my body and I need to slow it down. And this is the technique that we use in yoga. We call it deep yogic breathing. And it's simply by just closing your eyes and focusing on the breath, imagining that you're opening a channel right down through the very center of your body. And gradually taking the breath, each breath, just taking it down deeper and deeper, slowing it right down. And this is where you're taking conscious control of the breath. So you're deciding to control your breath. And you take it right down until you feel able to breathe from your belly. And the best way I find to teach this is you place your hands on your tummy. You gently breathe into your hands, so you start expanding the belly as you take the in-breath. And then you pull the hands back towards your body with the out-breath. And you just slowly breathe in, a nice deep breath. Slowly release the air and breathe out. And you take your mind, you focus on that breath. And by taking the focus onto the breath, you've taken the focus off the worrying thoughts, off the anxiety, off the fears and doubts, and you've tuned into your physical body, and you've just focused on that breath. And as you focus on the breath, it will take you into a very peaceful, quiet place inside. And when you start to connect with this stillness, this peace inside, you will find that your body starts to relax and that your mind starts to calm down. There's fewer thoughts and more space between them. And what you're doing here is you're taking back control of what's going on in your mind by focusing, by consciously deciding to focus on the breath consciously, because usually the breath is unconscious. We don't usually focus on the breath. We usually just breathe. And by just doing that, you will find that you calm your mind right down. And then what happens is in that space between those fearful, doubt-ridden, anxious thoughts, it gives your higher self, or the truth of who you are, it gives that part of your mind a chance to just drop in some solutions to the problem. It might be to just quite often drop in some positive thoughts. Quite often it just brings you to a place where you think, actually, I can deal with this. Or I'm getting caught up in something that's running away with me here. And the part of you that just detaches back away from those fearful thoughts starts to manage the whole state of not just your mind, but state of your being. And this is really how we use the mind, and especially the mind and the body connection, to control our emotional response to life. Because it's the emotional response that's the really tough part. The emotional response, so for example, fear and doubt and anxiety tend to come from events that have happened in the past. There's some trigger in life, and it triggers something deeply subconscious in you. When last time that happened, this happened, oh, fear response. It's almost like the animal instinct. Last time I heard that noise, there was a tiger behind the bush. There might be a tiger behind the bush. I need to be prepared to run. And that is the kind of response that you're triggering. So these triggers are in your subconscious mind. Sometimes they come from your childhood. Sometimes they're rational. Often they're completely not. Sometimes they come from past traumatic experiences that have sort of left an imprint deep in your psyche, if you like. They may not be relevant to the current situation. One event may trigger some person and totally not trigger another, depending what's in there in the subconscious, in their psyche. So, for example, a red balloon to someone like me is totally neutral. I'm not going to have a negative response to a red balloon. But someone else who associates that with a painful childhood event, or a relative that died that used to give them red balloons, is going to have a completely different response to a red balloon than I am. But that's all based on the past. You see how fear and doubt usually come from the past. And the other thoughts that overtake our state of mind and take us out of a positive state of mind are projecting worries into the future. what if this happens? Oh, if that happens, well, that might happen. And I heard that this happened. And see how I'm starting to get into a loop. None of these events in the here and now have happened. You're invoking a fear response in your body with no solid rationale in this moment. There is not a tiger approaching you out of the bushes at this moment in time. But your body doesn't know that. Your body doesn't know the difference between an event imagined in your mind and a real event happening. It has the same response. And this is why worrying is so detrimental to our health, and especially detrimental because it lowers our overall energy vibration. So if you watch the talk from last week where we talked about our energy field or our energy vibration in relation to our health and our immune system, fears and worries. So fears, worrying about what's gone on in the past, responding in the way that you have done in the past to a trigger, or projecting worries into the future, really lower your immune response. They lower your entire vitality, which lowers the amount of life force energy coming into your physical body. And so it's recognizing that your power and your health and your control of your state of mind and the state of arousal in your body, the state of calm in your body, is all about being in this present moment. So in this present moment, if you close your eyes and you just tune into your senses, if you want to come into the present moment, you tune into your senses. So you notice the sounds. You notice what you can feel, maybe your clothes on the skin, the chair you're sitting in. And when you focus on the breath, it brings you into that present moment. And you will find that in this present moment, everything is fine. Moment by moment, you respond in the way you need to, and everything is fine. And this is the key to managing your state of mind, is every time you've gone into fear and doubt, anxiety or worry, you've come out of the present moment, because you'll probably know if there is something emotionally traumatic going on in the present moment, you're not fear and doubt and worrying about it. You're getting on with doing whatever you need to do. And this is what we do when we respond in a crisis. We just do what's needed in the moment. We fall apart later when our mind goes back over what happened and processes that sort of trauma. But in that moment, our body kicks in and we do what's needed. And if you can come to trust that in the moment, you will always be equipped to deal with whatever comes up, breath by breath, moment by moment. This is the key to managing your state of mind and your state of being. And it's a practice, it's a habit. We habitually wander off and we go cruising through the past and bringing up memories, and we go into the future, and we quite often, you will know, have you ever driven somewhere that you often drive? You get there and you can't remember any of the drive there, because through the whole drive, your body was responding and reacting and driving the car, but you weren't present. You weren't present at all. Your conscious awareness was elsewhere. Now, luckily, we can often drive cars quite safely without full conscious awareness. But if you had driven with full conscious awareness, you would have noticed the trees in blossom, this happening, that happening. When you come into the present moment, your senses come alive and life has more vibrancy. You notice things. You notice the sounds. You notice subtle changes. You notice what's going on. And this helps you to feel connected and helps you to feel alive. So spending most of your time in your mind in the past or projecting into the future means you miss out on the here and now. It's like videoing a birthday, and because you spent the whole time behind the video camera, you actually missed the birthday. And you think back later, I missed the birthday. I was too busy videoing the birthday. So you can miss out on life because you're too busy worrying about what might happen, like it did in the past, or worrying about what could happen, like it might do. And this is such a shame. So it's a discipline and it's a habit coming into the present moment. And the beauty is that anytime that you focus on your physical body, when you come into an awareness of your physical body, you come into the present moment. And this is why things like walking in nature brings you into the present moment. It's why we find it so invigorating. It's why we enjoy it, and we feel uplifted and energized afterwards. Quite often children or animals will bring us into the present moment because they exist in the present moment. Young children don't spend a lot of time in the past or the future. They're right here and now. And that's one of the reasons that they have so much energy and so much life force energy. So it is a habit, and we do get into deep grooves in terms of our mental habits. But the key to changing them is recognizing how much of your day do the same old thoughts just run through your mind? How much of your day do you spend in the past or projecting into the future? What are you missing out on here and now? So some of the other things that you can do to help with coming into the present moment is our heart. So when I talk about our heart, both our physical heart and our energetic, or our heart chakra, if you like, our heart emits a electromagnetic field. It's like it resonates, and it goes out to about 3 foot right around our entire body. And that will be resonating at a frequency depending on how we are feeling. So when we come in contact with a person, we can usually tell how they're feeling because we pick up on this heart resonance. And when your heart is resonating with positive emotions like love, like courage, like enthusiasm, inspiration, compassion, gratitude, forgiveness, acceptance, all of these qualities, that vibration is a very positive energy. And not only does it have a very positive effect on our own physical health, because that vibration from the heart is picked up by every cell in your body all the time. So it's like the heart is broadcasting to your body how you are, and the cells respond to that. So if that message is positive, the cells respond with good health. And if it's negative, the cells are fearful and the cells don't respond with the same good health. And this is how our state of being, our emotional welfare, can affect our physical health over time. I mean, they have found that that vibration can turn on positive DNA for your health and turn off DNA that might be negative for your health. So you may have a family history of a certain disease, but if you resonate with heart energy that's positive, you may never see a manifestation of that disease because of your state of being most of the time. So the power of your heart to bring you back, to bring the heart is like the master of how your whole being is. They used to think it was your mind, but they now know that it's your heart. And the mind follows a guidance from the heart, and the body follows the guidance from the heart. So a lot of the key to keeping a positive state of mind is to come into your heart energy. And this is techniques that we call heart coherence. And it's when we bring the mind and the body and the heart all into a beautiful coherence. So there's a synergy. And this is the feeling like you're feeling whole, or you feeling put back together. You can sense that all of you is working as one. And it's a positive state, rather than feeling that your mind is somewhere in your heart, somewhere else in your body. You don't even know what's going on with your body. You're all over the place. You're scattered. You're feeling very incoherent. So one of the things that you can do simply to come into that heart coherence and bring your mind into alignment with your heart is to close your eyes and just imagine that you're breathing into this area of your chest. And as you gently breathe into the area, you imagine that heart opening and filling with one of those qualities of love. So it might be unconditional love itself. It might be courage. It might be gratitude. It might be forgiveness, compassion, enthusiasm, inspiration. There might be an image in your mind that inspires you. There might be a picture you can look at that brings you into a state of grace. This is the power of prayer that brings you into the heart, into heart coherence. Singing in a group can bring you into heart coherence. Doing something that you love, dancing, playing a musical instrument. There are lots of things that bring us into heart coherence, and we recognize this because we feel joy. So you can choose to bring yourself into a state of grace, a state of love in your heart. And it doesn't matter what is going on in your mind. If you just focus on the breath and you just keep your awareness on building that heart quality, gently breathing into that heart quality, so that it's sending out that message out in that electromagnetic field that's radiating out from your heart to every cell in your body. And you just sit with that for a few minutes. You will change your whole state of being, including your state of mind. So you can do this. I could do this sitting here talking to you now. I could still be talking to you. I could be in a meeting. I could be doing whatever I need to do. But my center is in my heart, and I am just imagining building this love in my heart, connecting with the love in my heart. And it's just calming my whole body down. It's keeping my mind clear. And we can do this whenever we recognize that we are not in a positive state of mind, that we have come out of coherence. So that's another very powerful tool to use. The other thing that I just want to quickly teach you is something. If you know that there are certain fears and doubts that really trigger you, so you know that there are certain things that set off that fear response in your mind and in your body. You may even know their origin in your childhood or some traumatic event that has happened in your life. If you know what they are, or you want to heal them, you want to bring them out of your subconscious, your unconscious mind, and into your conscious awareness, you can heal them and shift them for good. And that's where the technique we call emotional freedom tapping comes from. And what we're doing with emotional freedom tapping is we're taking our conscious mind and we're shining a light into the unconscious, and we're pulling out those programs, those conditionings, those emotional traumas that are locked in there and that are driving our fear response from the past, based on the past. So we're pulling out the triggers, the things that trigger us in our everyday life. So it might be that you find you always fall into the same kind of relationship, and it's a controlling, manipulative relationship. Okay, you've got some triggers, you've got something in your subconscious that means you believe on some level rationally or not, that you only deserve that sort of relationship, or that was one of the fundamental relationships you experienced as a child, so it's familiar to you, so you're attracted to controlling, manipulative type people. Do you see the sort of patterns that we have in there? And so we can tap them by tapping on certain meridian points in our body. And these are the points that are used in Chinese medicine and Indian Ayurvedic medicine. They're points along subtle energy lines. You might call them acupuncture or acupressure points. And by tapping on these, we can actually release those fears and doubts permanently. So just briefly, we'll go through a scenario where, say, we do some tapping on feeling overwhelmed with fear that you might become ill with this coronavirus, for example. So say that was a fear, or you are feeling fear for somebody else, or just an overwhelming fear of what's going to happen in the future as a result of what's going on now. Now, the thing about emotional freedom tapping is we name it. We bring that fear out into the open. And once you name a fear, once it's out there, it's not just in here, it loses its power straight away. You know that by telling a friend something, it helps. This is the same sort of thing. It's shining that light of consciousness into the darkness and bringing it out into the light. Like, here's the fear. We're going to face this fear now. And that's what tapping does. So we begin by just tapping on this point on the side of your hand. And we always start a tapping session by sort of anchoring in a very positive statement. So even though I'm feeling a lot of fear around what's going on at the moment, I love and accept and forgive myself. So you would just tap this a few times. So even though and you can do this with me if you like, even though I'm feeling a lot of fear and uncertainty at the moment, I love and accept and forgive myself. And then we're just going to start with the negative. We're going to bring out these fears and name them. And the more honest you are when you do this, the better. So this is a good point up here. So you might say, I really don't know what's going on and what the results of this is going to be. I'm feeling overwhelmed by fear at the moment. It's really hard to control the fear. Now we're going to tap points on the face. So at the moment, after you've done this, or if you don't want to tap on the face because you haven't washed your hands lately, don't. But the next point you can use is just at the side here. Just on those side of your eyebrow bones. And you might say, I can feel the fear in my chest. I can feel the fear in my body. I can feel my body tightening in response to this fear. And then the next point is just on your cheekbones here. I'm really feeling overwhelmed by this fear. It stops me sleeping at night. It helps. It's stopping me from breathing fully and embracing my life. And when you start feeling, you go through all of these points and you still just keep on getting the fear out. So because we are mindful of time, I'm going to sort of fast forward. So the next point here, once you've got the fear out and you've named it, you've owned it, then you start tapping, changing that fear, if you like. But this is only a fear. It's only fear. And the next point here, I can beat this fear. I'm filled with strength and courage. Everything will be fine. And then this is a really good one. Just tapping here. My heart is open. I am full of love. I am loved and supported through this. We're in this together. I'm not on my own. I can move through this fear just under your collarbones. I can feel the fear reducing. My body is relaxing. Whatever the origin of this fear is, I am happy to let that go. Another point, I let this fear go. I have the courage now to let this fear go. I let this fear go. I return to love. Everything is fine. I am feeling calm and centered. In this moment, everything is fine. I return to my heart and to love. I am loved and supported by the universe always. I can feel the fear reducing. I don't need this fear anymore. Another point. I let this fear go. I am loved. There is no place for fear in my being. And you just keep tapping until, say, a fear that started on a scale of 1 to 10, it might have started at an 8. You just tap it down to a 2. You tap it down to a 0 if you're doing really well. And then the next time it comes up and it's a 7, you tap it back to a 1. The next time it comes up, it might only be a 6. You tap it back to a 1 again. Till eventually the fear will barely come up. And if it does, you'll be able to tap it back in maybe just a couple of taps. And it can go for good. And it could be that you get right into realizing where that fear is, and you'll have tears pouring down your eyes as you release old patterns. Please embrace that. If tapping is making you cry, it is working, because that emotion is that trapped old fears and doubts that were sitting in your psyche, and you're getting rid of them for good. So the last thing I want to say before we move into the meditation is meditation. If you can practice daily meditation, what that enables you to do is to step back from those fearful thoughts, those worries and anxieties, and adopt the position of the observer. And in meditation, when you step back from your thoughts and simply observe those thoughts, they lose their power. They just come into your mind, pass through and pass on by, and you focus on the breath and just watch them. And that capacity to step back from your thoughts means that you can start to choose which ones you give attention to and which ones you just ignore. And when thoughts are ignored, they lose their power and eventually they stop coming up. I learned a powerful technique about 30 years ago when I first learned meditation. And it's a technique that just cuts across a negative thought. You have to have enough self-awareness to recognize the thought. So say a negative thought pops up into my mind, not this, not this. Boom, gone. It just goes, and it's gone. Not this, not this. And carry on. I don't give it any more attention than that. Not this, not this. I'm saying what stays in my mind. So it's not the fact that a thought passed through your mind, it's what you choose to hold in your mind that defines who you are. And all of these techniques today are giving you back the power of your state of mind and your state of being, so that you choose who you are, how you show up in the world, and how you respond to what's happening in the world. And that choice is always yours. I hope they were helpful. What I would like to do now is move into the group meditation, and I'm very aware that at 8 o'clock we're going to pause because we want to clap to support our NHS carers in the UK. So what I would like to do now, I'm going to have a different screen come up on the video, just so that I'm not distracting you during the meditation. So if you just get yourself comfortable while I change this screen. Get yourself comfortable, sitting upright but not rigid, feet on the floor, hands comfortably in your lap. And I'd just like to begin by connecting. So in your heart, just have the intention that we are connecting as a group in this meditation tonight. And if you're joining us on the recording, time and distance and geography don't matter. You will still be connecting with the power of this group. So just take a moment to connect. And I also like to invite you to connect with the earth. So I want to ground your energy. So imagine that you're sending roots down either from the base of your spine or through your feet, down into the earth under the building in which you are. Feeling that connection to our beautiful planet. And now I want to bring us into the present moment. So I want you to just quietly notice any sounds in this present moment. Just let the sounds come in and let them be. Now come into an awareness of the clothes on your skin, your body sitting on the chair. Now just before we go into the meditation, I would like to say together the affirmation of love that's up on your screen. You can say this out loud or quietly in your mind. But this is an affirmation that has power, especially when people say it together. It's like a prayer. In the center of all love, I stand. From that center, I, the soul, will outward move. From that center, I, the one who serves, will work. May the love of the divine self be shed abroad in my heart, through my group, and throughout the world. Now gently close your eyes and just bring your awareness to your breath. Keeping a gentle focus on your breath. Just feel your body relaxing. With each breath, feel the breath get a little deeper. Imagine that you're opening a channel right down through the very center of your body until it feels comfortable to breathe right down deep in your belly. Just keep your mind gently focused on the breath and let the breath lead you into a place of stillness within. If you find your mind distracted, soon as you realize, just gently come back to the breath. And come back with loving kindness. It doesn't matter that you were distracted. What matters is coming back to the breath. Just keep a gentle focus on the breath and let it guide you into this place of inner stillness where you feel strong, clear and calm, centered in this present moment. Now I want you to bring your focus to the center of your chest, into your heart center. I want you to imagine that your heart is starting to fill with light and love and gratitude. Each time you breathe, you're breathing more light, more love, and more gratitude into your heart. Allowing the center to fill with love, to expand. And through your heart, you are connecting to the higher aspect of you, your higher self, your soul, spirit. Bringing your body into a beautiful coherence with the energy of the heart. Now I want you to imagine that pure white or violet, purple or gold light is pouring down through the crown of your head, down through into your heart center, and down into the other major chakras or centers associated with the spine. So right down into your base, your navel, your solar plexus, your heart, your throat, your third eye. So beautiful white light, or you may prefer a violet, purple or a gold light pouring in, aligning these centers with the heart. Imagine your heart as a vessel to receive and distribute this light throughout your body. So as you breathe, imagine your whole physical body filling with this purifying, cleansing, healing light, strengthening your immune system, calming your emotions, bringing clarity and peace to your mind. Just gently fill your whole body with the vibration of this light, and whatever color resonates most with you. Now, as your physical body fills with this light, imagine it flowing out into your etheric body or your energy field that surrounds your entire physical body like an aura. Cleansing, healing, purifying light. Now allow this light to flow out to fill your home, to fill the hearts and minds of all who live with you. Now let it flow out to fill your street, your local community, your town, your city. And have the intention that it connects with the heart energy of all who are joining us in this group meditation. So we are working as one. And from this group, imagine it flowing out to encompass the whole of this nation, to encompass this part of the world. And then expand your imagination to see it fill the whole of this planet. Pouring in through your crown, this healing, purifying, cleansing light. White, violet, purple, or gold. Flowing out into all of humanity. Flowing out and touching the hearts and minds of all who are open to this energy. Now imagine that you can see the whole of the planet from space. And you can see our beautiful planet surrounded by this light, like a beautiful aura. See it healing our planet, restoring the balance in nature. The air is clean and fresh. The water is pure and clear. The ozone layer healthy. See all the animals and the plant life flourishing and in right relations with mankind. Now see the light pouring down into the hearts and minds of all men, igniting peace, goodwill, and right relations between all of mankind, lifting our awareness and the collective consciousness of all, so that we can come to live with peace and in harmony. Now hold this image and let this energy flow and radiate out. Know that our group joins many groups all over the world who are working in this way. You could see them all as sparks of light all over the planet. And these groups unite to form one group, working toward peace and healing for all of mankind. See the light pouring down into the hearts and minds of man, igniting in them the will to good, forming right relations within themselves, with each other, within their families, their communities, between nations. Envisage peace on earth. Continue to hold the energy, to work in the group's energy toward the common good. And now, still with the connection in your heart, I invite you to open your eyes, and on your screen you'll see the great invocation, a world prayer given out to help unite mankind. And I invite you to repeat this world prayer with me, either out loud or in your mind, pausing between each stanza just to imagine the words playing out. Say it with conviction. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. May Christ return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center which we call the race of men, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. Now slowly come into an awareness of your own body, drawing your energy back into your own energy field. Take a nice deep breath in and just come back to the room, opening your eyes when you're ready. Namaste. So in a few moments, we're going to pause the recording and pause this session so that you have the opportunity to go and clap to show your support for all the hardworking people at the front line in the NHS in the UK. We'll come back to the meeting just after 8 o'clock, when if you have any questions or you would like to chat or just give comments, you can do that either through messaging in the chat, or if you would like to speak, let me know and you can unmute your microphone and speak and ask questions, and we can share as a group. So I'm going to pause this recording now and we'll see you soon. Hello, welcome back. You got everyone back? Good. Can you all hear me? Yeah, lovely. Good. Okay, this is your opportunity now. If you have any questions, you can either put them in the chat if you don't particularly want to be on the video and talking. Or if you would like to ask me a question, just raise your hand and unmute your microphone and ask away. So anything that came up from the talk, or anything to do with keeping a positive state of mind that maybe you're finding challenging, because if you are, it means other people are. And I think a problem shared, even if I can't help, someone else in the group might be able to. So do you have any questions? I'm going to unmute you all. So you can comment if you want to.
Hi, Heather.
Hi, Maggie. Nice to see you.
And you.
It definitely works, Teresa. That's all I can say.
Good.
The energy, when we first start the meditation, I don't know, I think the veil must be quite thin at the moment because I'm fully aware that it goes freezing cold, lots of energy around me. But then I go boiling hot and I feel like I'm too hot. So
Yeah.
It's working. It doesn't matter that we're doing it this way. It's working.
No, it makes no difference that we're not physically together at all.
No.
And even if you were watching the recording and still doing this meditation, time makes no difference.
Yeah.
It's all about the heart connection. Maggie.
Yes, I was just going to say that I listened to the recording before, because I wasn't part of it last Thursday, and I really felt part of the group. It was, even though I was, 2 days afterwards, it was great.
Yeah,
it's good.
Thank you.
And you can do it again and again.
Yeah.
If you find, because it's when you meditate in a group, the group holds the energy for everybody. And that means it helps you to meditate more deeply and to stay in that place of stillness. It's something very powerful about a group of people meditating together, even more powerful than individuals meditating. Yeah. Yeah. Lovely. Barbara.
I just wanted to say thank you very much. I so enjoy these Thursday evenings. I look forward to them all week. Thank you, Teresa.
Well, I'm thinking long term, maybe we just keep doing them.
Oh, that would be lovely. Yeah, that would be great.
Wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's fine.
I'd just like to say thank you for the invite. Mum of, which is Maureen Atkinson, isn't able to use Zoom, but I have taught her over the phone how to use YouTube so that she can do the recordings the day after. But I know that she would love to join you if she could do.
She's here with us in spirit. I know that.
Absolutely. I have to put up with her every morning on the phone. Hiya, Mother.
And Bernie, did you have a question?
Well, it's more of a comment, actually, Teresa. Yeah, I mean, I met you about 10 years ago in your New Moon group in Chester, so I don't know if you remember me or not, yeah?
Yes, I do.
Yes, great, yeah. And I'm really enjoying these, let's say we're traveling to Chester, having a weekly thing. But anyway, but it's been nice. I live in Waterloo now, in Liverpool. Just to say that I've just been reading up your notes about the new moon, which is about setting intentions. But tonight is a full moon, and full moon, as you know, is about letting go. And, I'm going to go out to the new moon with some friends in about 10 minutes to let go of my fear. So I've always been an anxious person, and I've tried every technique, and it still comes back. The hypnotherapy, you mentioned it, I've tried it, but I'm getting better because I'm looking at the root causes, and the tapping is very powerful indeed. So.
Tapping is one of the most powerful techniques I have come across, and if you want more information, Nick Ortner has videos and website, and I think he's doing regular tapping. But it really gets into your subconscious.
Yeah. What's his name? How do you spell his second name?
Ortner, O-R-T-N-E-R. If you Google Nick Ortner.
O-R-T.
O-R-T-N-E-R.
N-E-R. Okay. That's fantastic. Yeah.
Okay.
keep up the good work. Thanks, Teresa. That's fantastic.
No problem. No problem. Well, it's lovely to see you all. I enjoy these sessions. I find they uplift my energy, and I hope you feel the same. There's something about knowing that we're coming together, and especially when you put your own fears and doubts and needs aside and work in meditation that is working more on a global level. You're coming with your heart intention, and you're really tuning into that collective. There's something very powerful about that, and many studies that show when groups come together and send out their love into the world, actually it is returned 100-fold. And so when you send that healing and peace out into the world with no desire, you're not looking for any benefit for yourself, you actually gain immense benefit. And almost some quite miraculous healings have occurred through working in this way. And yet that's not your intention. Your intention is totally altruistic, and you're doing something because you can. This is something that you can do to make a difference from your own home. And that's the absolute magic of it. It doesn't matter that we're isolated in separate homes. In this, we're not isolated at all. We're coming together. And that's powerful. That's powerful healing, both for us and that energy that goes out, because it just helps. The positive energy that comes from your heart has a much higher vibration than fear and doubt, which has quite a heavy vibration. So it doesn't take many people to hold that higher, lighter energy to dispel a lot of the heavier energy. In fact, from what I've read, it only takes 15% of the population to lift their vibration up into peace and love, and that will lift the vibration of the whole, whether they're consciously aware of it or not. So to lift people up out of fear and doubt and this collective fear that's very present at the moment, we just need 15% of people to not buy into that fear and doubt, to hold themselves in peace and love, to return to love whenever they feel their vibration dropping and they're falling into that fear and doubt. And that way you serve the world. By lifting your vibration, you help to lift it for all. So 15% can hold the energy for the whole world. That's all that's required. And that will make a difference. And that's where people who are consciously aware of these things can work together. And when we work together, we don't just multiply our effects. It's a logarithmic scale, which is just off the scale in terms of our collective intention and our energies coming together. So it's very powerful work that we're doing here. Don't underestimate its effect. Never underestimate the effect. So well done. Well done for showing up.
Yeah.
Lovely. So I'm going to end the session there and say a very big heartfelt thank you for joining me. And we will next week, I've got a guest speaker, Ted Capstick, an esoteric astrologer, is going to give us some insights on what's going on at the moment. Yeah, that will be special. So put it in your diary, and I'll see you next week. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye.